Okie dokie. Let me see what else on our list. So we talked about the minus lines. We talked about Lecker. Talked about the Dolphins having done well for us. Talked about internationals. The try scorer doubles were
Yeah.
interesting last year. I think we had some very close near misses.
Well, why don't you talk about the singles? Let's go back to the bad, okay? Because some members were getting annoyed. I was getting annoyed. Everyone was getting annoyed. We kept hitting 1 out of 2s. Do you want to go through that period?
Yeah. So I think we started by saying this guy's going to score, and then another guy's going to score, and so we take each guy as a single, and then the double as well. And then when one of the guys narrowly missed out or something, you'd basically have only hit one bet out of 3 effectively, and you might have lost only a small amount of money, but lost a little bit of money with a sour taste in your mouth. So then I think towards the end of the season or midway onwards, we just started doing doubles only. I think just saying these two guys are going to score or bust, and
Yeah.
I think that did better for us in the end because when it busted on like 1 unit or half a unit or whatever it was, and then when it hit 1 unit turned into like 8 or 6 or 7 or something, so yeah. And
Yes. Sorry, mate. Sorry to interrupt you. So here it is on the sheet, guys. We've had 72 doubles last season for a return of 40% ROI or thereabouts, 45 units profit. So when we did ditch the 2 singles and a double, say we took Herbie and Casey McLean, and they were 2.2 and 2.3. We took 3.3 units on each single. That's 6.6 units. Then we took another 3.3 on the double. That's almost 10 units. And we're hitting 1 out of 2. This continued for about 5 or 6 weeks, the 1 out of 2 stuff. And I got annoyed. Everyone got annoyed. We ditched it. As soon as we ditched it, we started to hit the sweet spot over $10 and really start to make sure that the doubles were a really profitable angle for us. And I think that's an angle where we'll definitely focus even more next season.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sound about fair?
Yeah. I think it's definitely worth following the new formula that we hit on.
Okay, so we'll come on to that in 5 minutes so that we can finish this in an hour or so's time. Do you want to go through this? Let's do this together. So ATS 302 trades, 27-ish% return ROI. If you took ATS trades alone, match unders 22%. Became a bit weird. Super League's a haven for unders. I think we should have done a little bit more towards the end of the season, but we didn't. We went a bit conservative.
In NRL, on the other hand, I think you have to be a little bit more careful. But I think we did okay. Because we saw last year teams would be up 18-2, and then next thing you know, it's 22-26 in the blink of an eye. That's strange, but Super League, absolutely. Yeah.
I think we need to track that. So there's something for next season. If you were to put $50 or $100 every time that team that was losing by 20 points or more at halftime, if you did the comeback trade, I reckon we'd have been up another 100, 150 easy in the NRL, only the NRL.
Yeah.
Because it happened about 11 or 12 times.
Yeah.
Let's dig out the stat for that, mate, over the next couple of days and see if you have a half a unit or a unit on at half time for the comeback. Let's try and work that out. Because I think it will be a theme again.
And I mean, it's one of those funny things where you could be all conspiracy theory, but I definitely feel the NRL just love that big comeback. Fox love it because there'd be some games where it's an absolute flogging, like someone's losing by 30, and Andrew Voss is still going, oh well, they're not out of it just yet. It's almost like sort of like them and Peter V'landys crossing their fingers that the bunker or one of the refs will swing something in an interesting manner to see if it can spark a furious comeback. So
But
I don't
yeah,
exactly believe that theory, but it's funny how sometimes if you think like that and it can actually predict outcomes, well, all right, give it a try. you know.
I think it's not just NRL. It happens a lot in NFL, and it's happening more and more in quite a few other sports.
Mm.
I'm not an NFL fan, so I'm not the best person to ask about that. But yeah, so let's move on. Plus lines, 53. We're good at plus lines. We'll keep those. Team unders, again, this will be mainly Super League. We're very good at those. 103% ROI, 85% one. SGMs, decent. 107 for 25% ROI. That's pretty good. Last try score is 30 for 185%. Now, this is the sort of stuff you can't get off scanners. You've got to know the bench rotation and when a specific team lineup looks wrong early in the week. Otherwise, you're just not going to find those $67 shots or $101 shots that score last.
And with
So,
LTS, you look at the strike rate, we only won 6.67%. That's completely expected because hitting that's not super easy. But if you're going in at above EV on all of them, then a couple will come through and make you a lot of money in the end. And it kind of also is that lesson of try and get on all of them if you possibly can, because you don't want to just be trying to pick and choose on that. It's impossible.
yeah, and those are the fun adrenaline rush ones, that dopamine rush ones that come in when we hit. There are other groups, guys, that take 30 a weekend on LTS, which is just absurd. That's throwing mud at the wall. There's no skill involved in that, in my opinion. So yeah, that's something we avoid. 30 is not that much. That's probably something worth increasing, huh? Would you say, Airwolf?
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely for those of you who have a Bet365 account, that's probably a good thing, because Bet365 are the best for those, in my opinion. For the rest of us in, for example, little old New Zealand, where we don't have much choice anymore, probably don't get quite as much value. But yeah,
Well, I think Tab are okay. Tab are still decent there for that market. They want to lay those markets.
they're not as good as 365, at least from what I can see. But you can get some good ones. It's not a complete disaster zone.
Okay. Yeah. Then a few other smaller bet types below there. Quickly, we'll run through this. First try scorer. I mean, we're down a point on this. Not great. I always said we're better on last try scorer anyway.
Yeah. I think the year before we had some very good first try scorer strikes. But we did well on last this time.
Yeah. Head to head. Yeah. 18 bets, just sort of treading water, down a point.
I think NRL head to head is so hard. Like if you were in a group that was just trying to do head to head and plus minuses, it'd be so hard because it seems that people are a bit sharper on those and the bookmakers are all over it. But yeah.
Trebles, hopeless. Lost all of them, down 6 points. Trixies didn't go very well.
Yeah.
2 try scorers, weirdly. Now, I think this can be improved, the 2T. For players that are $3 or higher, so we're looking at the Jake Avarillo types, had we placed 80% on the ATS single and 20% on the 2 tries, I reckon would have been well up. But backing these 2T singles on their own wasn't profitable. Down 11 points on that. And then really the sort of the issue that we're going to solve here is minus lines. And I'll just take us directly into the sheet that I wrote about minus lines. Obviously, these are favorites. And what I did was strip them out completely and see where we ended up. So there are a few different things that we could strip out. Had we removed the minus lines completely, we'd be up an extra 13 points there. And our ROI would go up from 17% to 22%. Had we removed minus lines and the Titans, we'd be up at 340 points. The Titans are a tough one because they've got a new coach now. So it may not be a similar story for next season.
With the minus lines, what we want to do is be surgical and be careful on the NRL, but keep, Championship and Super League, for example. That should hopefully do well. And then the Titans. Well, I guess we put them on a watch list along with the Sharks, because I remember the number of times we were trying Tino Fa'asuamaleaui, and poor guy who's trying his best, but not getting close to the try line or anything like that. And then I think we also had like painful moments like Jaden Campbell waltzing over the try line, didn't see Latrell Mitchell coming, and spills the ball as he's about to ground it. So yes, bloody Titans.
Yeah. Okay. So so we spent 358 units fewer had we not bet minus lines at all. Let's take 100 off that for Super League. Let's call it 250 remaining. How would you suggest we redeploy those 250 units, Airwolf, for next season?
Ooh.
Instead of staking the 250 on NRL minus lines, let's look at this from a sort of portfolio approach. To stay with that theme.
I think this is a little bit unscientific. Obviously we know we're good with ATS, so we can. I think this is Chum here, who's
What's he doing? Is he spamming the chat?
He said more handicaps. No. We'll be doing maybe less handicaps, yes. And then I think obviously ATS in those sweet spots of like $3 to $4 and maybe 10 plus. But obviously we don't want to be throwing stuff at the wall and just throwing random darts. Another area that I thought could be interesting, but with no research, is sometimes we've had a bit of trouble with same game multis, like multiple try scorers in one game for the NRL. But there are some games, I think, that can turn into tri-fests, and your classic examples would be Broncos, Cowboys, and then who can forget that game against Canberra, the playoff game, where I think pretty much every try scorer we picked came in. Once Reece Walsh came back from the sin bin and decided to win the game himself. So
we bet him whilst he was in the bin that day.
I don't know if it was Walsh, but it was definitely one of the guys outside him, for example.
No, we took Walsh whilst he was in the bin, saying he was going to turn the game.
And
then what happened was Karapani, I think it was the following game, got a head knock, allegedly. And they took Karapani off because, there's probably too much liability on that player.
There's some good suggestions in the chat. So you got Isaac here with 2 try scorers having merit. So I think that could be your philosophy there, Sniper, which is put another 20% or point for every unit you put on one try scorer that we think is a very good try scorer. Put 0.2 or 20% on him. And then you got Brody here about same game multi teasers. And then Danny's got a question.
Do you want to read this out, mate? Do you want to read them out since you're there?
Yeah. So Brody might have to explain a bit better for me because maybe I'm missing his point. Maybe SGM teasers, buying the handicap down and the match total points up or down. Okay. So is it a SGM involving a handicap and the match total? Is that what it is? Maybe.
Not sure, mate.
For Danny, who joined late, please explain, Brody, while I answer Danny's question. Yeah. Our handicap ROI wasn't great, basically because of the NRL. But Super League and UK Championship was fine. And then for the handicap ROI in the NRL, the people we blame are the Tigers, the Eels, and the Sharks. And then in sort of hindsight, you look at it and you go, shit, all three of those teams are a bit flaky, aren't they? So that's probably the lesson there. Be careful on NRL handicaps, especially
NRL minuses.
Yeah, minuses, especially because they were just big comebacks last year. So teams went out to a big lead and only ended up winning by 4, 6, 2, or in some cases even losing. So yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next section. I don't understand what this pivot stuff is. What's all this about? Pivot. Do you understand it, mate? If not, we'll just move on.
It's just saying how many bits we did on the top row of each box. Yeah, it is a pivot chart that I found a bit hard to read. And then the sum of stake is just literally how much we staked in total across that many bets, and then the P&L below that. So yeah.
Okay. So if we take Hull KR, we've done 5 ATS bets on Hull KR.
Yeah.
And we've made 8.85 units. Is that how you read it?
Yeah, we risked 14 units and we got back 22 something units for a profit of 8.8.
Cool. Actually, this is quite good. Wigan here, 8 bets, 19 units profit on the ATS.
Yeah, that's
18
right.
staked. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you get your head around the old man pivot style, yeah, it's pretty readable.
All right, let's move on to the next section, guys. So without doubt, our most profitable bet type in the entire Snipers Club portfolio, if you want to call it that, is info plays.
Interrupt you because Brody has explained the teaser thing. So
go on, mate. We've got 13 minutes left, so let's whiz through these.
Okay, we'll get to it at the end then. Hopefully, let's hurry. Yep, let's go.
Okay, so without doubt, our most successful plays are info plays. If you isolate these on their own, we've got a lot of contacts in good places. Occasionally, we have a closer look at certain selections. We're not going to name names or anything. Our ROI on those alone is 66%. So if you want to add this to the strategy, mate, might want to double down on info plays. So if it's a max bet at 5 units, maybe it should be a 10-unit bet. Can you add that to the list?
Yeah.
Yeah. And our win rate is 90%. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. If you look at the time when we place our bets, guys, in play, we've got a 31% ROI. Close to game time, 30%. Pre-game, which is TLT, is a fair bit lower at 13%. So again, I think we'll need to start taking less on TLT and more the closer we get to kickoff.
And in play is a bit of a tricky one because for Aussies, it's a real pain in the neck. So I think, if I remember right, we did less and less in plays over the season. And if we were going to do something, I think Snipe would say something like at halftime, this is what we're going to do, because then that at least gives people time to get in the queue with Sportsbet or whoever, you know.
Yeah, we did a lot more the season before.
Yeah,
but it is polarizing. Lots of people like to get their bets on early. We understand that. We didn't have many. I'd say in plays probably about 5% of our entire number of bets. So if we did 854 bets, you're looking at about 42 in plays over the course of a season max. I think it might even be lower than that, but we'll check that as well. What else have we got here? Anything else to add, Airwolf?
Oh no, I think my list has been well covered. If we have
NRLW.
Oh yeah, NRLW was a bit tough for us.
And then we'll take the questions.
Yeah, NRLW was a bit tough this season. As you say, because of the poor start in Vegas, and then we kind of clawed our way back. And then there's a few of us who are trying to ride Michaela Brake to,
Literally or figuratively?
probably possibly both. But yes,
Okay.
figuratively, we wanted to score heaps of tries, having come over as a sevens rugby union star, and then she was just starting to find her feet, and then declared she was pregnant and left. So that was a bit of an underwhelming moment. Yeah.
Yeah. It was almost I didn't do this personally. I think we did it for a couple of weeks. Then some people decided to death ride Michaela Brake.
Yeah, I think you only officially tipped her once,
Yeah.
and that was like 2-3 weeks in. Whereas like on week one, I was all in. Well, not all in, but had decent stakes on 1 try, 2 try, 3 try. Came up with nothing.
I think Sutton did give her a try on
Yes,
the buzzer that she'd basically dropped.
she didn't
And
score
then,
it. I know.
yeah,
And
but he gave her the try.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other wing, which was the left wing, which is Peyton Takimoana, definitely worth keeping an eye on
Yes.
ahead of next season as well.
Yes.
She's super impressive. Caius Fatili, anything about him, mate?
Yeah, well, that's right. So all I've got left on my list is some memorable try scorers for us. So we talked about Leka Halasima, of course, and then Hayes Fartilli, who was at Wakefield, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen the tries he scored for us, just like look him up on YouTube. He's got like flowing locks, almost built like a prop, but runs like the wind. Quite a sight to watch. We had obviously Herbie Farnworth and Avarillo were very good bankers for us, but there was one time where it didn't look like Herbie was going to score. Some of you might remember this. Cody Nikarima was going to score, and he just decided that he was just going to toss the ball to Herbie to give him a free try. That was quite amazing.
Yeah.
On the flip side, we had Matty Timoko, who was going to score about the last minute of the game for us, and he decided to do some weird try celebration in putting the ball down and lost it. That was infuriating. But then conversely, my other favorite moment was Reece Walsh. We had him to score in some game, and he got over the try line, and I think he just handed the ball to like Gashevsky or whatever, that guy. I forget his name now, which was infuriating. But then he scored another try because, Reece Walsh can do Reece Walsh things. So these are the highs and the lows, and luckily we have way more highs than lows, so that's good.
Yeah. Low for Wigan Warriors fans, losing to a Ryan Hall header. What the hell happened there? God knows how. That's a 1 in a million shot.
Oh gosh.
Oh right.
That game, was that the Challenge Cup final? Was it that game?
No, it wasn't. It was a league game. It was Leeds Wigan. Challenge Cup final was a glory try by Tom Davies in the last play.
That's
which
right.
was again, yeah, we hit that.
We had Davies, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching it at like 4 a.m. or something, going, "Oh my god, this is a waste of time." And then it was some sort of bizarre kick ricochet thing, and he just fell on it.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my highlights. Really, really enjoyed that. All right, guys, let's get to the questions. Do you want to run through the questions, mate?
I don't think there are too many other questions left, but Brody had explained the way to do the teasers in the same game multi. So
do you want to run us through that in audio?
So he's explained it in the chat. So if anyone wants to look at it, they can see it there as well. But he's basically saying if the handicap is at -9.5 evens and the match total is say 41.5 evens, you could do same game multis where it's like you take an alt line, so you take like -3.5 on the handicap, and then the total over 30 something, and then you get yourself to $2 odds. Not the worst idea, in my opinion. But it can. I think those sorts of doubles are pretty interesting, or even a treble. I've seen some people try to do those sorts of alt lines to go from $1 to $10, and you inevitably bust on like the 9th or the 10th one, but like those doubles, could be interesting. Yeah.
Okay, well, look at that. So quite a lot to look forward to in terms of the new season, guys. There will be some adjustments. I think if we do strip out NRL minus lines, we should get to 25% fairly quickly. And if we strip out a couple of other things and add bet types we're actually really profitable in, we should be able to crack 400 points this season and 30%. So
and simply just find the next Leka Halasima, right? Easy.
we've got those. We've got those already in the black book. But obviously, we're not going to spill the beans or the Colonel's secret recipe just yet. But guys, thank you all very much for joining. It's been a pleasure. Look forward to an awesome season ahead. If anyone's here and hasn't, heard about us before, please do spread the word. We have a waiting list at the moment, so it's 1 in, 1 out. Please only join if you're going to take it seriously. If you're not, if you're going to be a part-timer, if you're not going to take it seriously, follow all the selections, leave the place for someone else. Save yourself the time, save us the time, save us the aggro. We're a professional group, and there are lots of free groups you can join if you're that way inclined. But thank you all very, very much for joining. The waitlist is on our WAP page, which is rugbyleaguepro.com. WAP.com/Rugby League Pro. And you can follow us and DM us on Twitter at Snipers Club NRL. So, guys, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Good to hear dulcet tones, Airwolf. Thank you very much.
Good night from New Zealand, where it's about to strike midnight. And see you guys later.
Yeah. Good night, America, wherever you are, as Midnight Caller used to say. Over and out, guys.
See ya.
Cheers.